AI is advertising like a lifestyle brand, regulators are putting a price tag on privacy, and location data is becoming the next big flashpoint in Europe. This is the Privacy-Led Marketing Show, where we track the biggest trends shaping the industry and rank them on our Marketing Barometer. So let's see what's heating up. At the bottom of our barometer, welcome to the AI ad wars. Here's the trend. Even AI companies know that branding is about humans, not machines. Both OpenAI and Anthropic rolled out their first big ad campaigns. Anthropic leaned into trust and transparency, whereas OpenAI went lifestyle with a glossy campaign styled by Euphoria's own Heidi Bivens and shot on 35mm film by director Miles J. The cinematic ad showed young people using ChatGPT for everything from recipes to impressing a date, all while looking like extras from the hit HBO show. But here's the spoiler. Neither of these campaigns were made with AI. They hired human creatives. This stylish and well-thought-out campaign feels incredibly well-timed given the chaos of the creepy Friend.com ads that are around the New York subway. The AI startup spent over $1 million plastering posters across all 5 boroughs, and they're getting vandalized in protest. Friend.com's Black Mirror-style ads are a stark contrast to OpenAI and Anthropic's lifestyle-led shoots, and they have not been received well. Barstool blogger is calling the campaign the end of times, while vandals have graffitied the posters with the words surveillance capitalism. The popular New Yorker's account posted a roundup of all the critical responses to the campaign, and Atlantic's Yair Rosenberg slammed it, saying that the tech industry will do anything to solve our loneliness epidemic. Yikes. So what does this all tell us? That the AI race isn't just about model performance anymore, it's about building a brand. That's right, AI has officially entered its marketing era. But here's where it gets interesting. OpenAI didn't use its own AI tools for the glossy lifestyle ads. They hired human creatives. But just days later, they released a separate campaign for Sora 2, this time to actually show off what their video tech can do. So 2 very different campaigns, 2 distinct audiences. The lifestyle ad builds credibility with mainstream consumers, while Sora 2's spot speaks to early adopters and tech insiders. Next up on the barometer, warming things up, privacy is no longer free. Platforms are testing whether users will pay for it. In the UK, Facebook and Instagram users now face a choice. Either allow personalised ads or pay $3.99 a month for an ad-free experience. The UK regulator, the ICO, calls this compliant, but the EU, well, they fined Meta $200 million for a near-identical model earlier this year. This split highlights the bigger picture. The future of the internet may not be one global model, but a patchwork of regional rules. And for marketers, the key is this. Consent is now a value exchange. Whether you're asking people for data or for money, you have to prove that the deal is worth it. To dig into what all of this means from a leadership perspective, we have Adelina with us. She's CMO at Usercentrics, and she knows firsthand how these shifts are reshaping marketing strategies. So Adelina, how do you see this playing out for marketing leaders?
Yeah, this is a very interesting one, almost like a philosophical debate, and I can understand why there are different perspectives to look into this. I think in the world of digital, we've been saying for many years now that if you're not paying for it, you are the product, right? It is about the data that these platforms know about you, or the content that you are loading on social media and different platforms and so on. So definitely there was something there. I think it's quite interesting to explore this angle, and obviously a platform needs to provide a lot of value to say, you either get ads or for the ads-free experience you need to pay a subscription. We'll see what the users think. For me, I think that's the most important part. Like, legislations are trying their best, and it's from different perspectives. I can understand the platforms as well saying, well, it's your choice, which it's a fair point. But ultimately, let's see how this goes with the users. I'm actually quite curious. But speaking about this, I was actually watching a Netflix episode of Black Mirror, and there was some brain surgery and so on, but then that person was kind of saying ads to people around, and that was wow. I know Black Mirror is always making these things a bit more extreme, right? But then it was the same, now if you don't want to have these ads, you would have to pay a higher subscription. So definitely we'll see a lot of explorations of this angle in the future to come, and I think ultimately legislations are trying their best, platforms are trying their best, but let's not forget that ultimately it's people's choice.
Totally. And it's interesting you bring up the Black Mirror episode. Of course, it's the most extreme version of our world, but it does feel like we're becoming more and more a subscription-based model for everything.
Yes, the subscription model is definitely here. We'll see potentially this could change as well. I think there is a lot of debates now in the world as well about usage model versus subscription model. I think we got quite used to be plugged and be loyal. I think ultimately subscription is kind of all about loyalty. Do you get value on a recurrent basis? Companies can count on that revenue to keep exploring. And what we're seeing now in the world of marketing as well, speaking of this loyalty, extrapolating from subscription, it's the rise again of communities, but kind of like real communities, not just some digital groups where people share or spam, but more like the real communities are now on the rise again.
Mm-hmm. And as a leader, do you see what's the most pressing issue for you? Is it being compliant and making sure you're adhering to every regulation, or is it making sure that your user is put first, or is it a balance of the both?
I think compliance and everything coming from regulation was the beginning of the eye-opening of what's possible and pushing, the whole ecosystem to adapt. But again, for me, ultimately, it's about the users. It's giving them the choice, and it's, for me, although obviously we want to comply, but it's ultimately about doing the things right for the people and giving them the choice, because maybe person A would choose something and person B would choose something else, and that's perfectly fine.
Totally. And that's kind of a sigh of relief, I suppose, for a consumer to know that ultimately it is within their control, because if they don't like it, they'll just go elsewhere completely.
Exactly. And to be in control and to make these choices, first comes something else. You need to be aware. And I think a lot of like what happened in the world of digital lately around what we call compliance or data privacy is actually just the awareness of what happens to your data. Where is it used? Why? By who? And that then can lead ultimately to choice. And then when you have the choice, you build a trust. And trust leads to more subscriptions or purchases and so on.
And personally, what do you prefer? Are you ready to see the ads, or are you willing to pay a bit more to escape ads?
I think I'll try both, just like to see kind of like what's the different experience.
Nice. Keep your options open.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was super insightful. Now we're going to go over to Ike. He leads product innovation at Usercentrics, and we're curious to hear his perspective.
The main topic here is to differentiate between how, for example, big tech might use this when we look into the example of Meta with Facebook, while smaller publishers use it in a different way. I think in general for marketeers, it's an interesting point because it's all about the kind of value exchange that we're talking about and how your customers might treat data sharing with you. When we talk about systems like gated content, where you offer something behind providing an email address, it's also a way of how customers can share data with you to get some value back. And therefore, it's an interesting direction and could help to solve for some issues around how to publish content in like free content in a world where you still want to monetize your customers and your traffic.
And at the very top of our barometer, regulators are treating location data like it's as sensitive as health records, even though technically under GDPR, it's not. After an expose showed the precise movements of 64,000 Irish phones being sold by data brokers, including through prisons, military bases and private homes, the Irish Data Protection Commission moved fast. They seized the dataset, raided an office in Dublin, and escalated it to the European Data Protection Board. So why does this matter for marketers? Well, location has always been a grey zone for targeting. This case signals that regulators see geolocation as high risk. And once regulators treat something as sensitive, expect new rules and new liabilities. As for consumers, if they believe their most sensitive data is being traded like Pokemon cards, the credibility of every data-driven brand takes a hit. To explain it further, we have our legal researcher, Bárbara, here with us. Hi, Bárbara. What can you tell us about the regulator side of this, and what does it mean for marketers?
Thanks, Kirsty. The speed and scale of this investigation tells us how seriously regulators are treating location data. And that's because under GDPR, location counts as personal data. It's one of the identifiers listed in Article 4 that can make someone directly or indirectly identifiable. Now, technically, it's not classed as special category data under Article 9, which is normally reserved for things like health data, political views, or biometrics. But here's the point. Regulators are treating location data as if it were sensitive because of the risks it carries. The RTE investigation showed movements through prisons, military bases, even private homes. It's exposing patterns of daily life that have security and privacy consequences, not just legal ones. For companies, the message is clear. Regulators see location data as high risk, regardless of whether it's labeled sensitive.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Now that's a wrap on this edition of the Privacy-Led Marketing Show. From AI's glossy ad wars to testing just how much privacy is worth, it's clear the heat is only going up for marketers everywhere. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which story you think should be on top of our barometer. See you next time.